Hi, I'm Stephen Parsons. I'm a speech language therapist from London, and I'm here today to talk to you about vocabulary teaching and a specific approach that we've developed with my colleague, Anna Brannigan, called Word Aware. And it's something that we've used over a number of years now, and it really has a big impact across many, many schools who are using it, both in the UK, but also internationally. Okay, so we started our word learning journey a long time ago. Yes, too long ago to remember. But anyway, so we started working with children who had really severe language learning needs in London. And, you soon realize actually they're in classes with other children who don't have diagnosed conditions, who also have vocabulary learning needs for other reasons. So Anna and I were collaborating, and we really looked around at research, did some research of our own, developing, looking at best practice, and to really come up with ways which were practical, time efficient, and effective. Okay, so vocabulary learning is a big issue for many teachers internationally, but actually, one of the big, the concerns are there, but actually, how do you do this massive job in a short amount of time? Okay, so that's what we're really trying to work out with our approach, Word Aware. Okay, so we've now developed, and there's now 3 books in the series. There's Word Aware 1, which is on a 2nd edition, which is aimed at primary word learners. And then Word Aware 2, which is for early years, age 3 to 5. And Word Aware 3 is about supporting children who have slightly higher level needs, who need a bit of extra boost than is, to really support their learning within a mainstream setting. And this is this kind of summary to the whole approach. So it's a whole school approach supported by families. And then there's these 3 tiers, three steps that we really advocate introducing them in this order as well, because this is what really works from the schools that we've worked with. So get excited about words, then teach words, and then teach independent word learning strategies. And then in that combination, you'll build effective word learners. Okay, so we're going to go through each one of those steps briefly today. Okay, so whole school approach, because there are so many words to learn. So one teacher who's obsessed with vocabulary cannot simply do it on her own. All right, it needs a whole school approach, year in, year out, everyone involved, which is going to make a difference. We need families engaged at every stage. Vocabulary just doesn't happen in the classroom. It happens, right across children's lives. Okay, so let's build it into every step of the whole program. It doesn't need to be big things. I mean, on the right here is a really simple bookmark. Cut it out, copy it, give it to children, give it to their parents. So actually, when they're reading through books, they can just choose a word, find a word you liked. Why did you like it? Find a really powerful adjective. What makes it a good descriptive word? Just have a little chat about the words, and actually we're showing appreciation of words as well, obviously, well as developing vocabulary. But then step 1 in those 3 steps up the mountain is the first one is get excited about words. Okay, so show our excitement and really celebrate words. So the examples here are from an event held in a school in London where, actually, sorry, they're 2 different schools, sorry. One's in London, one's not. Anyway, and so dress up as your favorite word. Okay, so dress up as your favorite word and really builds that energy, enjoyment of vocabulary learning. And the second element is playing word games. All right, so there's 2 elements really get children excited about words. So here's some ideas for celebrate words. It's just start off by show your own joy of words. Expose students to rich vocabulary. So read great books to them, right? All of these great good practice that happens. Okay, and then what this does is can build in extra opportunities for children to become more aware of words, develop that word consciousness, but also just joy of language. And that's a big step in the whole process. So another tool that you could use is something like a word of the week. So having displaying these, again, engaging families in the process, but also obviously showing children and exposing them to more richer vocabulary. Celebrating word, not just in school, but also in the wider world. So thinking about how we use schools and trips. And one little idea is just putting a sticker on children saying, talk to me about the word. In this case, pier, okay, if you're going to the seaside. So then children will be learning about that word as part of that excursion. Newsletter ideas for families, sending ideas home for families, little games they can play, little facts about language, little things they can do. Again, all of these things promote vocabulary. And another one is a vocabulary assembly, where every class nominates a word they like and why they like it, and then one is chosen for the whole school. So little things, but they all build up over time. Another game here is playing word games, sorry, is the second part of that. And just playing word games because you can have fun, they enjoy, they motivate children, but also word games require children to make new connections between words. Okay, so it deepens their understanding and develops their word learning system. So it's a really good tool as well. So this is a game, really simple. You ask one child to think of a letter, any letter of the alphabet, or say a letter of the alphabet, and another child to say a number between 1 and 10, and then say the letter was E, and the child chose number 9. I count down 9 on the page, and then I'm going to read this definition, and the class's task then is to think of a word beginning with E, which means this: relating to beliefs about rights and wrong. Sorry, relating to beliefs about right and wrong. Sorry. Okay, it starts with an E, and so the answer there would be ethical. All right, so really having to think hard about that there. Okay, step 2 is teaching words. So we can't teach all the words, but we can teach important words, and we really have been struck by this method, which comes from Blackovich and Fisher, called Select, Teach, Activate, and Review, which has obviously a great acronym, which is STAR: Select, Teach, Activate, and Review. It applies to any curriculum in the world. We've used this in a number of different countries. Any subject, it can be tweaked for literacy or any other content areas of the curriculum, and any age group as well. So a really flexible teaching tool. So one of the selecting the words is really important, and so we have a system, Anchor, Goldilocks, and Step On, which is into 3 groups. And Goldilocks words, not too easy, not too hard, but just right, are really the focus ones. But we still want to use all of the words, but we're going to focus on Goldilocks words and teach those so that all children know those words. They're really useful, likely to be encountered again. Average adult has a good level of knowledge. Words are very topic specific. Okay, but quartet topics are really crucial for learning and desirable for writing as well. Okay, so the Goldilocks words are really the focus of our teaching. And we teach this through this multisensory method. There's several different versions of this, which pull in lots of different theoretical components to word learning in a very practical way. But repetition is very important for vocabulary. We know that. And this is not to teach words to depth, it's just to give children a start in that word learning process. So things like writing the word on the board, having a picture of it, saying the word, clapping the word, identifying the speech sounds like the initial sound and rhyme, having a clear definition, using the word in a sentence, telling it a bit of a story, having an action, song or a rap, so you're repeating, so the children are saying the words over a period of time. And then there's a couple of things you can do, which I'll touch on later, word wall and word pot, which are part of the review process. But you write the word, put it in the word pot, write the word, put it on the word wall. Okay, so this process is very quick, and it just kickstarts that word learning process for children. And then we move on to the activate. So we're going to select, teach, activate. Activate then is where children take this outline of the word and they start to build it into their own understanding of the world. So having more encounters with that word, you can engineer how that happens, maybe just asking questions or encountering it in another story or linking it to the lesson, what you're learning. Okay, so starting to build on that natural word learning process. And then the final part of the STAR, select, teach, activate, and review, the final part is review. Okay, so coming back to that word at the end of the lesson, the next day, the next week, the next term. All right, so really having opportunities to encounter words. And that sounds like a lot of hard work, but the easiest ways to do that is to have a word wall. Okay, so let this happen naturally. Just put the words on the word wall and just engage with the word wall from time to time. And the other one is the word pot. So we write the same words in the word pot, and then a little bit later, maybe the next half term, we start pulling words out of the word pot and we have little discussions about those words. So children are just encountering them so they're not forgotten over time. And the third step is independent word learning. And that's really about having a measure of really all the skills that children need to be independent word learners. Now, what we know is that children who are good word learners have this repertoire of skills and they use them very well. But there's lots of children who don't have these skills and they don't, therefore, at a disadvantage in their word learning. So even if they're in the same classroom being exposed to rich vocabulary, they're not making use of this because they don't have the word learning skills. So we really want to really develop this step by step. So we use these kind of 7 areas, again, which are based on sort of research and best practice. So one of the key things about word learning is comprehension monitoring. So are children monitoring their understanding? So lots of children who have word learning difficulties don't do this. So we want to really encourage this as a whole class culture that, so that if you do you know that word, not sure about that word, never heard the word. Okay, so really having that as a class culture, and let's go looking for words. Really simple one is for sticky notes. Give every child a post-it note. Off they go in independent word learning, go looking for words that they don't know. So then we're all word learners. We're all looking for words we don't know, and that's a really positive thing. Okay, so we've got those 3 steps. Get excited about words, teaching words, and independent word learning skills. And if we're doing that as a whole school approach with families, then we are building lifelong effective word learners. So if you want to find out more about vocabulary and word aware in particular, then here's the 3 books, Word Aware 1, Word Aware 2, Word Aware 3, with my colleague Anna Brannigan, and our website thinkingtalking.co.uk. Okay, thank you very much.